All right, so have a band spare. Have your chair set up. If you don't have a TheraBand, that's okay. We will. I'll give variations that don't require the band, but for that little bit extra, awesome, extra resistance, the band makes a big difference. All right, so to start off with, we're just going to stand up. Just going to loosen up our body a little bit. So I want everyone just to go through a few rotations side to side. And just getting a feel for if you're a bit stiff anywhere, not really trying to change anything. But by doing some general movement, you might find if we do have a bit of stiffness or restriction, after a few repetitions, that can start to slightly ease. Body starts to wake up and get some blood circulating. Good. The next we're going to do is a little bit of sideways bending. So you're going to have hands either side of your thighs, and you're just going to slide one down towards your shin, come back up, down the other way, and up. So just aiming to lengthen out a little bit through the side of our body here. And while we're doing that, we're keeping our spine nice and stacked. So thinking about lifting your spine as you bend, not just falling to the side. Go for one more. Good. And last off, we're just going to loosen up a little bit through the back of our legs. So we're just going to sit our bottom back, slide our hands down our feet or down our shins, and then roll back up. All right, so only work through your pain-free range. Just go to where you feel comfortable. If you're someone who gets a little bit of vertigo or dizziness, you might want to just keep your head up and not go as low. Just sliding down, finding a little bit of length and stretch, and driving back up. Cool. We're going to get into a little bit of that breathing exercise we did last week. So what we're going to aim to do is as we breathe in, we'll be opening our body up. As we breathe out, we're just going to squat down. Kind of placing hands or elbows onto your knees. As we breathe in, we'll be opening everything up. Now, if you want to add a little bit of a progression, you can go into, excuse me, a bit of a calf raise as you raise up. Excuse me. Alrighty, so get your feet set about hip width apart. Just soften your knees a little bit, and then take a nice big breath in. Open everything out, squeeze your shoulders back, and then as you breathe out, make your body nice and small, like you're doing a squat. Big breath in, and out. In, and out. Keep with that rhythm. In, and out. Try to breathe in through the nose, all the way up through the mouth. And again, in, and out. And three more, in, out, in. Fill those lungs, out. Last one, in, and out. Nice job. Give your legs a bit of a shake off. So to start off today, we're going to get stuck straight into three key components of hip movement. All right, for this series, you may need to use your chair for a little bit of balance or a wall. Okay, so just go off how you're feeling with the exercises. And I'm going to show different levels of how they can be completed. So pick the level you can do, ideally without having to hold on to something. But if necessary, use a chair or something, a bench or your wall for a little bit of support. Okay, so the first movement we're going to go through is hip flexion. And that's essentially raising that leg up to roughly 90 degrees or within comfort. So if you get a bit of a crampy feeling or a bit of discomfort, just go a little bit lower. And that's essentially level 1. It's going to be raising up, holding, and then controlling back down. So we're trying to keep that balance on the standing leg. Those of you who find this is quite comfortable, your progression will be raising up, keeping your knee where it is, straightening out the leg, bending back to 90, lowering back down. Okay, so that's the slightly harder version. So once we start, get a feel for it. If you find this one's a bit too difficult, then you're just going to be raising up, holding for about 3 to 5 seconds before going back down. You're going to aim to do 5 reps of each of these movements on each leg, and then do 2 rounds. Alrighty? So if you need your chair, have it side on. And away we go. We're going to raise up, either hold or extend, and then back down. Up, hold or extend, back down. Now while we're doing this, we're trying to keep some alignment between our heel, our bum, our shoulders, and the back of our head. Do your best to keep your rib cage stacked over your pelvis. So not letting too much excessive arching of our lower back here, keeping some engagement through our core. Good work. So that's 5. We're going to switch legs. Lift up, extend out, bend, and back down, keeping that posture. You might find as you extend your leg, your thigh wants to drop down. So for example, raising up, and then as you extend, it's dropping down like so. Have a little rest, that's 5. It's not necessarily a bad thing at all. It's just a bit of an indication if your leg's dropping down, either you're quite tight through the back of the leg or lack a little bit of strength through some of these muscles up the front. And generally it's going to be a combination of both. All right, so that's the first one for our hip flexors, to wake up some of our hips, get some strength there. For that sort of exercise, ideally you want to be able to build up to doing about 10 reps in a row. So you may be able to do that already. We're sticking to 5 today just to keep it a bit more easy in a way and to get through all the exercises, but we will do another round short. The second one we're going to do is called hip abduction, or essentially leg out to the side. So level 1 is either tapping your foot and bringing it back or sliding it out. Level 2, you can go with a bit more of a bent knee, is raising it up really high. And 3, this one's quite difficult. Once you get to that height, letting your body lean a little bit, like you're going to do a kick. So I'd only try 3 if you're really confident with your balance. I'm only giving this variations because everyone's at different levels. But for now, just find the one you can do comfortably with some good control. So for most of you, probably just raising your leg out to the side, holding for a little bit, controlling back in is where you're going to be at. Only try level 3 if you can do it without holding onto something. Let's go for one more rep. Bring it back down. Nice job. Switching to the other side now. So you should hopefully feel some of the outer hip muscles waking up here. So we're going to raise our leg out. Control back in. Keep that control all the way in as well. So out's just one half of the exercise. Being able to bring it back in with control is quite important here. Raising out, slowly back in. And let's go one more for good luck. And in, nice job. Give the legs a bit of a shake. So we've done the front, we've done the sides, and now we're going to try and work a bit more with the back. So with the back, we're working through the hamstring, some of our glute muscles, some of our lower back muscles a little bit. Level 1 for this one is just aiming to tap back and then come back up to standing. Whereas 2 and 3 are just essentially not tapping and getting further and further. So 2 is going to look a bit more like so, before coming back up. 3, I'm really getting horizontal with my body, finding some tension through the hamstrings before returning up to straight. So for this one, you can have your chair in front for a little bit of support. Pick the level you can control. Once you start, don't watch me on the camera because it's probably going to make it harder. So aim to just keep nice level hips and shoulders. Body stays nice and parallel. As you find your depth before coming back up. So we can get started with that one, aiming for 5 good reps at the difficulty you can control. So you may just be tapping before coming up. Might be reaching a little bit further and letting that foot hover. Or you may be getting relatively horizontal with your whole body. Coming back up. Should have about 2 reps or so left. Once you've done around that 5 to 6 mark, have a little rest, and then we'll switch legs. So switching over now, if you haven't already. And off we go, 5 reps. Just seeing how all the muscles around our hip and lower limb are working together. Try to keep a little bit of a pinch between your shoulder blades, just a tiny bit, so not letting our mid-back round. Last one. And coming back up. Nice work. Shake it off. So some quite difficult, simple but difficult exercises you can complete. Don't need any equipment. And they are great for starting to build up strength through your feet and your hips. All right, so have a little bit of a rest. 30 seconds or so, grab a quick drink if you'd like one. And I'm going to run through all of them again. All righty. Getting ready to start again. So you're going to start, I'm going to start with my right leg as the lifting foot. Raising up, keeping hips and shoulders level, either holding or extending. And back down. As you do this, do your best to not shift your shoulders, meaning don't lean to one side too much. Generally, you want to lean to the leg you're standing on to counterbalance a bit easier. I'm going to try to keep our hips drawn in towards the socket. Our belly button slightly drawn back, keeping all of that on. One more rep. And down. Good work. Let's switch legs. Raising up, straightening out. Three to go. Remember, you can use something for a little bit of support if you need. And last one, make sure you're not letting those hips fall forwards, particularly if you're doing the straightening of your knee. Good work. Shake it off a little bit, and then we're going for the sideways. Nice and slow this time with these. So if you need to have something for a bit of support, you can. So you're going to soften your right knee or whatever leg you started on last time. You're going to slowly raise it out. And if you're wanting to, you can add in a little bit of a lean. Bring it back in. In the meantime, with that standing knee, try not to let it cave inwards. Go to number 3, slow. Don't have to get as high as me, don't have to copy what I'm doing, go off how you're feeling. But try to find that good medium or slight difficulty for this exercise, where you're getting a challenge, and because of that, your body will adapt. And in. Good. Over to the other side. Raise. Slowly back in. Might find one side's a bit easier or harder than the other. That's the case. Doing a bit of work on that more difficult side is a good way to start rebalancing the body a little bit. Nice job. I believe that's 5. Shake it off. And final one, our single leg. You grab the ground, slide that leg back. Find the depth you can control to. Come back up. Back. And up. Two more. Last one. Nice, switching legs. So keeping our spine nice and long, not letting it curve. And last one. And up. Good job, everyone. Grab a quick drink. I'm just going to grab my bottle. Have a little bit of a rest. Hopefully all around the legs feel a little bit more woken up, a bit more engaged. And you found a good level while completing those exercises. All right, we're just going to have a seat. We'll give our legs a bit of a rest. And what we're going to do now is just practice waking up some of the muscles at the front of the shins. So to do that, you're going to keep your knees relatively straight and you're just raising your feet up and down. So you're getting your heels quite far away from you. Your feet, depending on your ankle mobility, might touch the ground when you push down. It's okay if they don't. And then I want you to raise them up as high as you can. Really try to get the front of the shins doing some work here. A lot of the time we train the back of our legs, but sometimes forget to train the front, particularly the shins, the muscles on the shins. So very important for balance. If you are to start to fall backwards at all, these are the muscles that have to kick in to help pull your center of mass, the center of gravity, back over the ankle. For now, we're going to go for a fair few reps here because for most of you, I'm guessing you're not finding this too difficult. And I want you to keep, as we keep going, these muscles start to get a little bit more fatigue through them. Try to think about getting this region of your body up towards the middle, of the shin to do the work, and not so much just the front of the ankle or lifting the toes. So they're different muscles that will contribute to that, the movements. They all play a good role, but I really want these ones at the shin to do more of the work. So keep that going. Just up and down. If you need a rest, if you're starting to get a bit of a burn in the front of your shins, please rest. But we're going to go for a good 2 minutes, but almost there. Driving up and down. Great exercise if you're watching TV, if you're sitting down, just relaxing, especially TV. If you're watching regular TV and ads come on, just do some raises. So these are called TIB raises. See if you can do it for the whole ad break, whether that be 2 minutes or a minute. And just keep these muscles pumping, get some blood flowing into them. I'm starting to feel them a bit now. Guessing you might be too, so let's have a little bit of a rest there. Have a good breather. Good work. All right. Going to keep working up the chain now. So you're going to take our band. If you don't have a band, it's okay. You can still do this exercise. You just won't get as much resistance. So feet roughly hip width apart. Bring your knees together. Tie a bit of a knot around your band. If you've got a really thick band, like a heavy one, you might want to tie it quite loose. If you've got a lighter one, obviously a bit more tighter, and medium, roughly somewhere in the middle. All right, so we're going to practice just a little bit of another good exercise you can do sitting down. A little bit of control with our hips. So if you started off with your knees together and tied the knot, bringing your knees to hip width apart so that the kneecap is in line with the second toe should be a little bit of resistance. And you might start to find some of the muscles on the outside of our hip doing some work here. We're going to just practice doing both at the same time to begin with. So we're going to bring both our knees towards each other, push back, out. It's quite easy, just move your feet a little bit further apart. Slowly in, go to just before you lose full tension. Push back out, see if you can squeeze the outside of your bum when you do this. Slowly in, and pushing out. Let's go for 3 more. In, out, 2 to go. Last one, and on this last one, I want everyone to hold it out. So push out, hold. All right, here's your challenge now. Don't let your left knee move. You're going to slowly bring that right knee in and push it back out. So we're trying to train a bit of stability here. Our left leg has to stay stable the whole time, as our right leg is contracting in and out. Be mindful of your trunk, so make sure you're not just sitting back on your chair. I want you to be sitting upright. Try not to let your torso twist. And you go for 4 more reps. So you should be starting to feel a bit of the outer glutes here. Last 2. Last 1. And hold with that right leg. Now it's the left leg's turn. Slowly in. Drive back out. In and out. So these muscles play a very big role in helping to control your hip and keep it sitting in the socket with stability. And a lot of the time, if we lack strength through some of these muscle groups, you'll notice it's a bit more difficult to keep your hips level when you're standing on one leg. And if you don't have good stability, it means you won't be able to produce as much strength or force. So factors like trying to go upstairs or fire stairs, if we're limiting around here, it can impact our ability to actually get up and produce some strength or power through those movements. So last one. Good job. And give your legs a little bit of a rest. Hold on, that was a fair few reps. So if you stuck with me the whole time, you did very well. And the next exercise we're going to do now is actually standing and sitting, so trying to reduce some power, a little bit of strength. Keeping our knees in line with the middle of our foot, so our second toe. So I want everyone to get set up, knees apart. If your bottom is just screaming at you now after doing that exercise, then you can take your band off if it's getting a bit sore. And from here, we're going to aim to bring our heels a bit behind our knees. We're going to lean forwards and stand up. Keep your knees out as you sit back down. Driving up. Controlling down. So as you're standing and sitting, generally that's where your knees are going to want to falter and fall inwards. For this particular exercise, we're training them to stay in line with our second toe. All right, and that comes back to, if we've got our joints stacked under each other, again, we're going to have more stability through our leg. We have more stability through the leg and the hip. We're going to be able to lift our torso and the rest of our body with just more efficient movement and stronger movement. How we all go, and we've done close to 8 there. We'll see if we can knock out about 2 to 3 more. We'll go one more for good luck. And sitting back down. Nice job. Give your legs a bit of a rest. Well done. All right. Next off, this is definitely going to probably challenge your hip flexors. So at the front of the hip, we're going to see if we can coordinate a bit of those movements we've been practicing. So hip flexion and hip abduction. So the way we're going to practice that, you're going to aim to have those knees hip width apart again. So there's tension on the band. And then you're going to see, starting with our right leg, without it caving inwards, we're going to see if we can just float it up. So now the hip flexors are working and the outer hip muscles are working to not let my knee drag inwards or drop down. So just holding there. If you feel a bit of crampy, you might need to sit back slightly and come back down. Changing legs. Lift. Keep that gap. Don't let it fall in. And down. If you're tolerating this okay, you can add in lift, extend. And down. Otherwise, you're just doing a little lift and hold. And down. Keep it going. Lift, extend, down, lift, extend, down. Good. Let's go one more each side. Down, and last one. And down. Good work, everyone. And take that band off. Have a little rest. Grab a quick drink if you like one. Alrighty. You're going to stand up. You're going to work a bit more through the back of the legs now. Starting with the calf muscles. So to begin with, we're going to try just doing normal double leg calf raises, using your chair for a bit of support if needed. So you're going to raise all the way up and control back down. Pushing up onto your toes, slowly back down. See if you can stick it a little bit at the top. Nice work. Let's go for 2 more. Last one. Nice job. All right. Now what we're going to aim to do is a bit more of a single leg calf raise. So a good way to practice this is if you do have a step in front of you. Because when we're walking, we'll tend to strike with our heel first. And as I'm swinging this leg through, it's the calf at the back here that can actually help to propel me forwards. So having a setup where you've got one foot slightly raised and then being able to push up and down is quite a good, kind of replicates the movement pattern that we're going through. So having a step or something there is really useful. If you don't, obviously that's completely fine. You can try just having one foot softly in front, or depending on your chair, if you feel stable enough, you can do it with one foot on the chair, whereby you're driving up and controlling down. So what I want you to do is essentially a single leg calf raise. All right, so have a crack at that. You're going to go just one side for now. You've got your foot either in front, pushing through this back one. It's going to really challenge your balance more when you've got the foot in front. You may need to use your chair for a bit of support, or if you're feeling confident, have your foot up on the chair and just driving up with that one foot up and down. Good work. Have a little rest. We'll change feet. So having strength and also stability through your ankles is quite important for good gait and balance. So switch your feet over. Same thing, keep your knees straight, tummy on a little bit, and you're pushing up through that back calf, controlling back down. Another great way you can practice these is to have your hands on a bench or against a wall and just practicing some single leg calf raises, but not with your foot directly underneath you. That bit of an angle will make it a little bit easier, and it also helps to correlate to walking. So you're often going to push off when your foot's just behind you as you're rocking over it. Good work. Shake it off. So our next exercise, we've done this one before. We're going to have a crack at standing in that split stance. Feet are hip width apart still. And I want you now to just practice rocking your weight between your 2 feet. So I'm going to push, keeping my back knee relatively straight. I'm going to push through my toes and rock forwards. And then I'm going to roll back and see if I can raise my front leg. So this should start to challenge your balance a little bit here. Push forwards, you rock back. Forwards and back. Now keep your hips square. As you're pushing forward, you might want to twist, and that will make it slightly easier. Same with when we go back. We're trying to stay nice and square through the hips, rocking forwards and backwards, getting used to being able to lift that foot like we're about to do a heel strike, pushing through our calves onto that front leg. Let's switch our feet over. Everyone, hold on. Just to show you from side on again. Pushing through, rocking back. If it feels easy, you might want to make your feet a little bit further apart. So you want to build up to roughly your stride length, how far you usually step when you are walking. Keeping a little bit of strength through the tummy here. Getting some of those front shin muscles that we practiced earlier to help us out. Let's go one more. Nice job. Cool. All right, the next one's a bit funny. You can call it almost like turkey exercise. What you're going to be doing is taking our knee through, well, our hip through flexion and our knee through flexion. Going to bring our foot out, slide the leg along the ground and kick your heel up. So you can think about a bit of a bush turkey. How I like to push all the rubbish around. And essentially, I want you to try to stand on one leg. You can hold onto your chair if you need. And we're flowing through this movement. So if you do jog or run yourself, or you ever get back into it, this is kind of the cycle that our leg's going to go through when we're jogging. And it doubles up as both a good balance exercise, a good motor pattern exercise, training the muscles and the nerves, how to all interact with good efficiency. And it'll be a good little workout at the same time. So we're just sliding our foot back. Think about you brushing dust off the ground, trying to stay nice and stable through the hips. And if your arms feel natural to do it, you can let them swing with it. Good work. Let's have a little rest. We'll switch legs. So we're getting close to finished here. We're going to do a couple more of these. I'll throw in some more balance. I have a bit of time at the end for some breath work and some questions. So use your chair if you need to. You're sliding the front of your foot along the ground. Then kicking your heel towards your bum, bringing your leg through. Do your best to keep your balance here. And let's go 2 more. And shake it off. Well done. All right. We'll get into a few of the stands now that we've been practicing all week, or all programs, sorry, all month. So I'd like you to find either options are feet together, that semi heel toe stand, or the full heel toe stand. So whatever you can balance with. You'll stand in one of those positions, find it now, and just hold and breathe. Good. All right, we're all going to grab our imaginary ball that I've just thrown to you again. So having your ball in your right hand, you're going to think about you're holding the ball right now. We're going to reach our hand out to the side and then turn and look at our ball. We're going to follow our hand with our eyes as we bring it to the middle, switch it to our left, reach it out to the left and keep watching it. Bring it back to the center, keep watching that imaginary ball, bring it out to the right. You're still going, now we're going to add in, reach it up overhead, keep watching your hand or your ball overhead, switch hands, down to the side. Bring it up, switch hands, down to the side, bring it back to center. Well done. And then now we're going to watch it as we throw it down, bounce it, catch it back up. Down, catch it up. Throw it down, catch it up. Big strong throw it hard, down, up. 2 more, down, up. Last one, down, up. Go out. Shake it off. I'm going to try the other side. And I'll explain to you what we're training after we do this side. All right, so find that stance. It might be harder on one side. You might need to go a bit more of a semi-tandem. Holding. Grab your ball now. Make sure your hips are nice and level, shoulders are level. You're going to hold the ball out in our right hand. You'll look over at it. And we're going to watch it as we bring it to center. Switch hands and look out to the left. Bring it back to center. Switch hands, back out to the right. Go one more. Center. Switch. Watch it as you bring it out to your left. Let your head actually rotate. And center. Out to the right. Nice job. From here, I'm going to raise it up. Watching it. Switch it in the middle. Bring it out to your left. Raise it up. Switch it in the middle. Down to your right. Let's go one more. Up. Switch. Left. Up. Switch. Right. Bring it back to the middle. Well done. If you stayed on your feet that whole time, couldn't see you. Oh, keeping that stance, sorry. And now going for the bounce. So you're going to think about holding it strong, throw it down, watch it, catch it back up. Down, up. Down, up. So you're throwing it right in front of your foot. Down, up. Let's go two more. Down, up. And the last one. Down, up. And have a breather. Good work. So essentially with that one, it's a fun little way to challenge your visual and your vestibular, which is your inner ear systems. So they respond to your eyes having to look at different points or focal points, and to the shifting of your head, which influences the fluid in the inner ear. So being able to do this and watch it and coordinate movement and keep balance the whole time is a really good feat to complete. So well done. If you found it a bit hard, I would just start with a slightly easier stance, and you can build up on it over time there. Awesome. So we're almost finished. We're just going to finish off with a little bit of breathing now. So I want you just to find a posture that feels nice and comfortable. And we're going to focus in on a little bit of mindfulness too at the end here. If you're barefoot, it will work even better. But if you've got shoes on, that's fine. What I'd like you to do is we're going to stand with our eyes closed shortly. And what you're going to feel for is just the pressure underneath your feet, the tension in your hips. And you're essentially going to aim to even out the pressure underneath your feet and see if that starts to influence anywhere else up the chain. So with your feet, I'd like you to just splay your toes, try to get the outside of your foot down and your heel, and then really spread your pinky toe out, your next toe, your next toe, your next toe, and then your big toe, and just grab the ground a little bit. All right, so do that now, keep that going. But if that was your foot, I get down my heel and the outside, and then each toe, pinky, next one, next one, next one, and then big toe, and I'm gripping the ground a little bit, creating an arch underneath my foot. And now you're just going to hold that tension in your feet. Close your eyes and see how that influences it. Now place one hand on your stomach, one hand on your chest. And to finish off, we're just going to aim to breathe roughly 2/3 of our breath into our tummy, roughly 1/3 of our breath into our chest, staying even through our feet at the same time. So we're just going to do this for about a minute to finish up. Eyes closed, just getting a feel for your body, taking nice breath in through the nose, feeling your whole thoracic abdominal cavity, breathing out. And in. And out. In. Try to take nice slow exhales. Out. Go for 3 more. In. out. 2 to go. In. Out. And last one. In. And breathe it all the way out. Open your eyes back up. Shake your body off a little bit. We are all finished. Thank you, everyone who participated today. Hopefully you enjoyed that a little bit. For now.